Let's find our destiny.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the New Era Paranormal Podcast with JD Curry and Irina Kiloways. Tonight, our guests are Nick and Sue Pashusta, founders of Short
Pashusta.
Bus Paranormal. How is it pronounced?
Pashusta.
It's a Czech name, so it's kind
Pashusta.
Pashusta.
Yeah.
See, Irene's got it.
So, your guys' group is out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yep.
And it's a friends and family group.
Yeah.
So, how did you guys go about getting started in the paranormal field?
I myself have always been interested in it. I grew up in a small town in northeast Iowa, and my best friend lived in a house that was extremely active. Doors would open and shut, water would turn on and off, footsteps all over the house. I saw my first shadow figure there. But at that point, it was more just kind of fun to be in the paranormal. I wasn't into getting into the investigation and all that, but it just got my mind looking to go down that road. And then some years later, after we got together, we had heard about a place called Edinburgh Manor. And we went there. And after that, it was like in our blood. We were hooked on paranormal investigating. It was something that we wanted to do. The interaction we got that night was incredible. So we were very excited about going down the paranormal road.
Yeah. But I was the skeptic.
You were the skeptic, but that's good.
Big skeptic.
That's good to have that. But it didn't take
Are you
long.
still a skeptic?
Yeah.
It didn't take long for her to start leaning a little more to the believing side.
When I couldn't figure out the whys or the hows, then I was like, something's going on here that I couldn't explain or figure out.
What was the thing that was there a particular experience that kind of tipped you in the direction of, okay, I'm not just only skeptic now, I'm kind of believer?
Yeah, that would have been actually our first time at Edinburgh Manor. And we were on the steps heading to the basement. And of course I was in between I was like between the bookends. And we heard a big old rattling sound down there. And I was like, okay, if there wouldn't have been somebody behind me, I might have ran. But I couldn't because I couldn't push them out of my way. And so we got down to the kitchen, which is where the stairs were heading to. And there's a big old stove down there, and it had a stock pot on the stove. So I started like checking the vents to see if maybe some wind coming down had made that noise that I heard. And then I was rattling that stock pot on the stove, and the decibel level was too high. So there was a metal rack with commercial grade pots and pans on it. And I started shaking that, and that's what I heard. And I'm like, okay. And then fast forward about 4 hours, we were in the children's room. I was down the hall taking pictures. Everybody else was in there. Heard a commotion, walked back down there, and there was a little purse on the bed across from the doorway. And the lights, it's one of those touch purses where you touch it and the little lights will twinkle. And the purse was going off, and I told the one guy, I said, quit playing with the purse. And he said, it's not me, I'm by Nick. And I looked over and I'm like, what? And so I went over. No, he said, please stop playing with the lights. And it stopped. And he said, please make them flicker again. And they would start up again. Well, this went on for like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, there's got to be something in the bed that's making this happen. So I went and I moved the purse, and it did it again. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can't explain that. So then I started going, there's got to be something going on here. So that kind of led me into that there's definitely something other than an explanation.
It's kind of that moment the bug bites you, and that, you can't, you have to keep looking. You really have no choice.
Yeah.
It's funny, that toy has been there for a while, and multiple people have used it on the investigation, and it always we could always get it to work for the little girl that was hanging in there.
It'd be Susie.
Susie was her name. We got to know her pretty well at that location.
Yeah. If you ever get the opportunity,
And Susie, that makes sense.
No,
yeah,
Susie.
Sorry.
yeah.
Because we actually a couple of times we had EVP recordings sitting there, and I'd go, Susie, are you here? I says, this is my wife Sue. Can you say hi, Sue? And that little girl's voice would come on the EVP, hi, Sue. And you know, your head just kind of goes, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. Susie was a little girl who was dumped there by her family. And so that's kind of where her spirit still lingers. But yeah.
And you have more of a comforting and nurturing nature, so it makes a lot of sense that you would see that response too.
Yeah, I get a lot of children interacting with me or just hanging on me, which is usually by 11 o'clock. I'm done. I'm ready to go to sleep now because the tank is now on empty.
Totally understandable. Very well.
All the good stuff happens after I go to bed.
So,
well, not all of it, but
one of the people watching said Nick has some great stories. So are there any other great stories from Edinburgh that you guys want to share?
How many days do you have?
Yeah, we've been.
All right, pick one because you have some other locations you've investigated.
No. One moment, I have a disturbance with our little dog here.
It is now time to play with the ball. So that's what
she's camera shy. She wants to play with the ball now.
she does.
So I think it's interesting that the two of you found each other, even though you were a skeptic, you still were willing to experience it and try it out. And with Nick, so something had to still be like some kind of I don't know, some kind of pull might have been happening at the same time. What do you think that was that led you? Because some people won't go at all.
No.
I think for me, it was just curiosity. You know, the curiosity and the history.
Bella.
You know, I really want to know.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe there's a spirit there.
Oh no, this is just playtime. Yeah. She had her nap and now it's time to roll.
No, there's a spirit there. That's right.
Yeah, her name's Bella. She's brown and hairy.
No, the funny part is, it wouldn't be the first time because we were on the show with another gentleman's show, and we were talking to him, and he's going, "Who's in that room behind you?" And it turns out after a little conversation, it was her father.
My dad
Was back there checking up on us.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to Edinburgh, going there since the beginning, so over 12 years, and we go there at least twice a year. So we really could write a book on the crazy experiences at that place.
Not all good.
Not all good. It is one of those locations that does have a dark side to it. And depending on who you are, it can be much darker or not at all.
Yeah.
But we, as our group, feel that what's there now is something that was built. One of those ideas where, where everybody adds a little bit to that story.
Yeah.
And after a while, you have manifested that spirit there. And we truly, and there's a lot of other people believe that's what happened to what's the main thing there right now is something that was built that way.
The one that's crabby. Yeah. But
Thought form manifestation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weird part is, like, there seems to be, they always talk about the men with the hat. Well, this one, and he's in other places, always seems to go by the name of number one. And if you get on the right side of that conversation, like on our spirit box there the one night, it was the most amazing thing to hear. You had two women and two men, and it was out there, and you could hear him. He's coming. He's coming. And all of a sudden, while you would hear, he's here, and the energy in that place would just drop. It would just absolutely change like flipping a dime. It's really knowing this thing shows up. He really makes his presence known. All the other spirit activity stops. It's interesting.
He was the one that called me out by my maiden name,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah. Some things had happened, and I left the building for my own safety. And after I had left through the spirit box, he was saying, "Where's Sue? Go find her. Where's Susan? Find her now. Find Susan." And then he threw out my maiden name. Find her.
Oh, wow.
And so then he sent a couple of people over to go check on me because I'd gone to bed. I was cashed out. And as the one went to leave, they got scratched down the back of the leg, and the other one got their ankle kicked out from under them as they were coming to try to see me. And then it came back through the spirit box, found her. She's in that room.
It was crazy.
And I knew none of this until the next day when I was rewatching. I was laying in bed rewatching, from the night before. And by then I wanted to, go storm Edinburgh Manor and kick some booty. And he's like, "No, you got to slow your roll."
That was one night that none of us will ever
bad
forget
night.
that night.
It was a bad night.
That was the only time that I called the whole team out and says, "We're getting out of here. We're done. We have to go outside. This is getting way out of hand." So everybody was outside grounding.
Grinding.
We got a hold of a couple of our friends.
No, they called you because your phone was dying.
They got a hold of us and they helped us to clear ourselves because it was a pretty nasty experience that night.
Yeah, and the other one was when Chuck had too.
Yeah.
That was.
But yeah, Edinburgh can be off the hook. I mean, it has its moments. And other nights you can go there and it's quiet. So it's crazy.
It depends. Usually the first night it's kind of quiet. They're like checking you out. And then the second night we literally set it up on its side. It's just whack. Nuts. Just nuts.
But what's there has a tendency to look for any weakness you may have. Like if you go there and you're not feeling well, or if you're overstressed,
Emotional.
you're having emotional issues, you're the one that's going to be picked on that
You're the
night.
target. Yeah.
Interesting.
And the ladies wing on the second floor, the women do not like the men. So the men need to ask for permission to even cross into their wing. Otherwise, the men can get affected. And then they have to think.
Like emotionally or physically with like some.
Both.
Both.
More physically than emotionally. Yep. Yeah. That's where he got scratched. But that was on first floor in the women's area. Because I had gone into a room and I was immediately nauseous, so I left the room. And he just asked the question, "Why did you make her sick?" And right down the back of his neck. And you can see the 3 welts on the back of his neck. So we stayed out of that room the rest of the night. It's like, okay.
And everybody's always got the same question. Why, when someone gets scratched, does it burn so much? It burns like crazy when you get scratched like that.
Well, what are your thoughts? Why do you think?
I
have
don't
a
know.
thought.
I thought also.
Is this like you're taking a curling iron and laying it on your skin? It's burned.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I think scratches can mean multiple things. They don't have to always mean like demonic. But like if I couldn't grab onto you or like touch you and I have all this emotion and I'm trying to get to you, trying to touch you, I'm building up all of this energy. Why can't that energy manifest in the way it manifests in scratches or in feeling hot? Because you have a lot of energy. I mean, if you think of a thermometer, those molecules start moving faster, that means heat builds up.
Yeah.
So
that would make sense.
But it is.
I'm curious if it has something to do with light.
it could.
Because light, that fusion could definitely do a burn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you're building up energy, like they can. I mean, they can. If they can manifest as an orb, maybe light creates that or that heat. It's possible. Like
Good point. Absolutely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In order for us to see them, they would have to manipulate light. So,
And lights get hot.
but I would be curious about that entity, though. That seems like it's something unique.
yeah.
And the interesting part is he's known there, and he's also known at Melbourne Manor, which is another location. There's the same. We feel it's the same because he has the same reactions, acts the same, and the same voices come through there as they do at Edinburgh. And he's called number 1 there as well.
He's not as bitchy though.
Oh, you want to
Not always.
You want to tell Amy that and those
He
people
prefers
for
the
that night of the event?
hospitality.
That was
the other.
Okay,
that. Yeah.
everybody else the night of that event.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, me too. But
It's a weird transfer on that though, because they're not. I don't know. They'd be about 3 hours apart, I guess. So
yeah,
in the spirit world, that's
It's like nothing.
not
But
wherever they want to go.
if people are going from like you go from that location to the other location, why can't the spirit come with you or know where you're going and have that
Exactly. Yeah.
And we go down that road sometimes asking, have you ever been to Edinburgh or have you ever been to Melbourne? And we do get that answer that yes. Can't get it any farther than that, but yes.
What was the one? Shoot, over by the river.
We've been to a lot of them.
I know.
A lot of them.
They're usually near water.
Never mind.
Yeah, they are.
or railroad
Funny how
track.
that works. By the water, limestone, everything. It all comes
Limestone
together.
path.
It had those stairwells from Harold that I wanted to take a taxi. They went all the way down the hot springs, the springs in the basement.
Mineral Springs.
That's it. Yeah, he was there too.
I told you that.
Interesting.
No.
So we're talking about this like negative and positive. We like to ask people when they come on, how do you feel like you need to prepare before you go to a location, especially if you have a history with it of having negative experience, in addition to positive experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we ever enter a location, we always say a prayer for protection, just to watch out for ourselves. And then once we get inside, we like to introduce ourselves because our parents always told us, don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
So if we introduce ourselves, we're not strangers anymore. So now you can talk to us. And then before we leave, we always thank them for allowing us to be in their home. But that is their home. That's where they have to stay. And they have no permission to come into our home, go with us, attached to our equipment, nothing like that. And we always promise that we'll come back and visit. And so far, knock wood, we've had no issues. So
No. We did have our teammate though, did have a little girl follow him home.
that was from Alaska, wasn't it?
And he saw her twice in his house, and then she was just standing in the hallway, and after 2 nights she was gone.
That was from
She-
Velisca.
Oh,
Oh, that's a
interesting.
really bad place.
We've been there twice, and we're like, we're good.
Well, the other one that I'd seen that stood out to me was the Hinsdale house in my state.
Man.
You've also gone live from there. I've jumped on at least one of your lives, maybe two from that location.
Absolutely.
We've been there.
Love that place.
3 times.
3 times.
3 times. We've been out there 3 times now.
That is, if I lived in New York, I'd be permanent resident there. Live permanent resident, but I'd be a resident there. That place is off the hook. That is amazing. Between the house and the land itself,
Yeah.
the energies and the different feelings that you get there are they're hard to explain. The Native American spirits, all that stuff. It's got everything. It really does.
The 3 times we've been
I've
up
never
there,
been.
I will not go up to the giving tree at nighttime. I don't feel at ease going up there. It's like, that's like, no, stay away. So I stay down by the bonfire and let everybody else venture on up there. It's like, they don't want me up there.
I mean,
It's
you got to go
definitely
with
got to know where you can even feel it during the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But did you
It's-
experience anything negative or anything of that type?
Nothing negative. Nothing some weird, maybe somebody a little upset, but nothing that I would call negative. In shadow figures and equipment going off and mists and stuff being turned off and on. And as weird as it sounds, the Native American whoops up in the hills, at the few times that we've been up there, that amazed me. I've had a friend of mine say that I've got a connection with the Native American spirit for some reason. And I really tend to go with that when I go to those locations. And we went, when we were finishing the last night we were there, my nephew and I went down outside to pull our static cams from outside. We pulled the cameras, and when I stood there, I looked at the back hillside up by the giving tree, and I said out loud, a thank you to all the Native American spirits for allowing us to be on their land. We thank you. We promise we'll be back. Thank you for interacting with us like that. And right after that, in 3 different spots within seconds, you heard this woo, woo, woo in 3 different spots. Guaranteed they weren't a coyote. They weren't dogs. They were a human, like, telling you that they appreciate what you did.
When you took apples and tobacco up as offering too.
We always do that too, as apples and tobacco, crystals all up there up to the tree. Ask them for permission to be on their land, and I love going to that place.
There are some Native American graves right close by.
Yeah.
For the history that the place has got, and the Native American battles and the Civil War battles and all the battles that went in that area, it has so much energy up there. It's crazy. It really is.
One of the really cool things that happened, this is the first time we were there, it was we had one of those motion sensors that has the alarm on it, and we had it in the stairs. And every time we went up and down the stairs, we were setting it off. So we turned it around and we pushed it into the corner. So the sensor was facing into the corner. About 3:00, we were all sitting down in the living room, just kind of decompressing, getting ready to leave for the evening. And he had seen a mist come through the kitchen and into Michael's room. And then shortly after that, the motion sensor went off. And we're like, what? Because it was pushed up against the corner. So literally, it was looking at that corner. When we went into the kitchen, turned on the light, it was pulled away from the corner and turned around.
Oh, wow.
And we all went, that's pretty cool.
Time to go.
Right. I mean, that's the difference between a paranormal investigator and anybody else, is that we see that and we're like, oh, we want more. We want to see what else can
Absolutely.
happen.
Yeah.
Else is
Yeah,
running.
give me more. Give me more.
So that one was really cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
No, and when we were up there this last time, like I said, I've read every book about Hinsdale up there. And the last time we were up there, I was asking questions based off of Paul Kenny's last book up there. So I was using information from his book, going down the lines of questions and talking about the brothers that were up there, that what they had done, and getting some responses from the spirit box. And I says, why did you have to kill those women? And the voice comes through as clear as we all went. And the voice came through and says, they deserved it. And it just went down the line of that whole thing, and that whole energy in there. It was like the whole room just got dark and close. And that's the way that energy stayed. And that's where the questions and the answers were at. It was pretty intense at that time.
Yeah.
But to hear them say they deserved it is just.
Yeah, because that's the 2 brothers that were killing people, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They were known.
That story is spoken about too much anymore.
Excuse me?
Said I don't know that story is spoken about too much anymore.
No, not as much as probably some of the other stories that go out there, that if you haven't heard about it before or read about it, you haven't. It's a interesting story. Those 2 brothers got away with it for quite some time, the way it sounds.
Yeah.
But that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that place.
Yeah.
Listen, when we were there last year, we were there in October, and that was the night of the biggest the moon that night.
Harvest moon.
Oh.
And I still, to this day, sitting right here regretting, because I went up to the giving tree to bring my cameras back. And when I went up there, that woods that night with the moon coming through those trees just had a wild, a sensation I've never felt up there before. It was like it was supercharged with energy. It was like it was crystal clear. It's hard to explain. And when I'm standing there, I'm going, I know I got to go, but I wish I could spend an hour or 2 sitting here, because just what I was getting out of there it's hard to explain. And I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity again. I'll always regret that I didn't stay there.
Oh, you never know. It could come by again.
It could. I hope. Next time we go there, I'll have to make sure that the moon is full. I'll have to look
Yeah.
figure that out.
Well, Irene has not been there, though we've been around it a lot.
Ah.
You know, it's crazy.
Absolutely, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
I think once on our last road trip, we went through an area, and I kept thinking about the Hinsdale house, and I found out that we were like 15 minutes away or some really close distance. I don't even. So I know I'm supposed to get there, but I just haven't been there yet.
The Renwick House and the Stormy Ridge Frightmare Farm are really close to the Hinsdale House.
It might have been the Renwick House. It might have been that one where I kept thinking about the Hinsdale House.
If you're ever that close again, you got to go.
Yeah, gotta
It's
go. Yeah.
it's
You
amazing.
could always have Dan on the podcast. I'm sure he would be.
Oh God,
willing to make
Dan's a great guy.
Be fun.
Dan's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And I would love to go in a location like that with somebody like you, Irene. I think that would be amazing. I mean, we've got a friend of ours. She's a great medium, and just the energy she was picking up. So it'd be fun to see, you know, how you'd
Both
pick
of
up.
us together. That might be fun. Too.
Yeah, I love watching people like you work. It blows my mind. It's just absolutely the abilities you have.
It's awesome.
Are crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But again, it's them. They're in charge, right? Everybody.
True. But as you being the medium in between there, so it's just
It's fun we had in Missouri with
well, that's what I'm thinking, because you know,
group. Yeah.
the first time when we were down
Spirit
at McIntyre up in the attic down up there,
Yeah.
and I don't know where all of a sudden you're picking. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was like suddenly. The whole time I'm just like going through the house. We're doing what we normally do, and we had that great experience in the basement where with Jerry, and I thought she said something. She thought I said something, and everybody heard. Everybody heard it.
Yeah.
And she was right next to me. It was crazy. She's like, "No, I didn't. I didn't say anything."
Yeah,
And then
I didn't say that. Yeah.
right. And then we went upstairs into that attic, and it was just like the energy just was crazy, and I could not just do something.
Absolutely. And Sue and I are very appreciative that that came through and just going, oh my God, this is we were both blown away.
I appreciate that. It was great investigating with all of you too. Like for me, you know, I've had the opportunity to investigate with a lot of people now, and you know, for me, investigating with the two of you, I mean, we had more people there, but like it's a great experience, and it's a very professional experience. And you know, I would no problem doing it over and over again. You're a great group.
Same with us.
Yeah,
we absolutely love that group, and everybody.
Yeah, we gotta get a hold of Jim and say, "Hey, buddy, let's get something going."
Right. Oh, he's got plans. He's got.
Fire up your jet and get on over here. You know?
Oh yeah, we're ready. I can't wait.
I think it's something like that. It makes a big difference with who you're with. If all your energies are the same and you get along well, I think the investigation is just that much better. Because I think it all seems to come together when you have something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If you have one or two people that don't have the best energy, it tends to quiet the house down. I mean, like there's nothing will happen. It's
like if you go to somebody's house for dinner and you have two people that are just not the best guests, the hosts are not going to be very happy about it. So if you think of it that way,
like, we're not talking to them.
We have technical difficulties as you're playing with the switch there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to end the night early.
So for your guys' area, the central United States, it seems like there's been a lot of new developments coming out of there as of recently, and that's one of the hottest places right now.
There is really a lot of places, and there's so many that are coming on, like you said, now that we're looking at coming down the road. But it seems to be more and more opening here in the Midwest for some reason, and which is very good for us. Because after a while, like I said, there are ones that we always have to go back to because we absolutely love them. But it's nice to find out these new locations to go to see what's happening in those as well. So we're looking forward to trying to get into a couple new ones this year and see what happens there. So absolutely.
Now, Arkansas is starting to pull up a lot of new places too.
No.
Sure, now that mom and dad are gone, but
But I mean, Minnesota keeps coming up, Wisconsin, Illinois, that Midwest area really, it's had a big reputation as locations before, but it just seems now that there's been more opening up, which makes us very happy. No.
Yeah. I think it's become like people are more willing to open locations too and allow people to have these experiences and preserve the historical aspects of each of these locations. So it's more like there's more offering for them too. So that's grant money, things like that as well, helping them out. Cities want that experience.
And I like the idea of when people buy a location like that, and as long as they put the money back into it, it helps them do the needs to fix it up. Mm-hmm. And I'm always more than willing to, pay the money to do that. It just drives me nuts when you pay to a location and there's no money
go back
into it. I just, when it comes to that, I'll one and done. I'm going, you can't be pocketing this money all the time, because you're just going to run it to a point where this building falls down and you're gone, and what's left. I don't like that kind of stuff. So,
well, you know what, that leads me to a question. So you've said before that you believe every spirit has a story to tell. Mm-hmm. And like places have a history. And can you explain what you mean by that? Because what you just said kind of gives me an idea, but can you kind of elaborate a little bit more?
Well, like with Susie, I mean, she got dumped there, by her family. And I think she just kind of gravitates to somebody who is motherly or grandmotherly, with the white hair, looking for that love and that connection. And I mean, I feel bad for her because the poor little thing, and there's so many, so many children. For me, it's the children. It's
some that I've talked to that we try to explain to them where they are. We've run into spirits in locations where they've actually looking for help on why are we here?
Yeah.
What happened? We just want answers. What do we need to stay here? What happens if we move on? We've come into that enough on locations that we're just going, that's really what makes us want to try and help these spirits. Whether it just gives them a little more ease or understanding of why they're there and what they're going through.
Well, there's the military man at Klondike Hotel. His story is tragic. And if you try to talk to him about his story, he will shut down and he will not talk to you the rest of the night because it's so hard for him. But then on the flip side, there's Ella, the little girl that's there. And she just wants to play, and any toys that you want to bring, she wants to play with the toys. And she's, I think they said between 8 and 12 years old, more towards 8, I think. But again, they're just looking for some love. So
we had a gentleman at a location here that like a week before we were there, he was killed in a car accident right outside the location.
Oh, wow.
So we went in there and doing the investigation. We got up to the second floor.
I wasn't there for that.
No. And it just felt off. There was something on. We knew this by the name, who this was. So we started asking questions, and he was coming through the spirit box and manipulating REM pod on answers to that. And he was, like I said, it had only been 5 days. He was scared. He didn't understand what had happened. He just wanted to go home. He wanted to see his girlfriend. That's all he wanted. And that just kept coming through and through. So myself and my friend were just talking to him, trying to make him feel better and saying, this is what happened. You don't have to stay here. You can move on. You can go see your family. You can go to the light. You do not, you're just tied to this at the moment because this is the last thing that you saw. You need to go move on. You can always come back, but you need to move on this. And this went on for an hour, just talking to this young man. And finally, he did leave. The energy shift. He said, I'm gone. I'm going. And the energy shift in there was completely different. And I looked at the buddy of mine that we were talking about, and we both were just exhausted. We slid down the wall and we just sat there and cried because it took so much out of us to help this young man. That was one of my highlights since I've been doing that, is helping this young man figure out what had happened to him and how to make where he's at now better and to move on.
Well, and like Beatty Mansion is home to the friendless. That was one of it. And the one time I was up there, I had taken the music box up there and I had some of the twinkle balls and I sat in the child's room. And I was calling the kids in and I was sitting in a rocker, just rocking back and forth. And I said, come in and play. And the little music box would ding just a little bit. Come on, come on. Started encouraging them. Next thing I said, come on, you can sing and dance and twirl and have fun. And next thing you know, the music box is going on and on and on. I said, okay, at the count of 3, I want you to come to me. Stop playing with the toys. I counted to 3. The whole right side of me went ice cold. The toys had stopped playing. I said, now, on the count of 3, let's see who can run the fastest and go play with the toys again. And we did this for like about a good 15 minutes. And then finally I said, okay, kids, I need to shut the toys down for a little bit. So I need to take a little break. And it was just the most fun.
But like I said, part of the main thing on investigation is sit down and try and start a conversation with the spirits. At first you're all into like everybody does, make them do this, make them do that, make them do this. And I'm going, if somebody comes into my house and tells me to do this and that, I'm done. No, let's sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So that's where we try and find stories if they want to share with us.
Well, you're trying to preserve their stories too. If a location ends up, in disrepair and nobody goes back to it, who's going to find out their stories? Who's going to help them like you helped? Like it's something that I don't think we always think about when we think about old buildings and we just either knock them down or they just sit abandoned. But whether it's just whether there are spirits in it or not, there's a history to the location. And like there's energy, there was something there that lived, and it's hard to see something like that, just not be cared about. It's, I don't know, maybe as paranormal investigators, we have a soft spot for all of that. And that's what keeps us going. Oh. Uh-oh, did we lose them?
Apparently.
Well, it's you and me, JD, until they get back. I'm sure they'll jump back on. I have to share an experience. So they were talking about when she was saying she had called the kids to her side. It made me think of, I know they've investigated Waverly. And before maybe they come back on and we ask them about it. When I was at Waverly and we were investigating, I was doing Estes and they were asking the spirit, so I was trying to stay focused on just doing the scientific approach to it, right? So when I was doing that, they were thinking of me as the medium doing it. Hold on one second, they're messaging me. Okay, so they were asking, well, tell her to take her, I don't know if it was my blindfold or my headphones, but they're like, tell her to take her headphones or blindfold off. And I kept feeling like I should take it off, and I kept feeling like the children in the room telling me to take it off. But I was trying to get like actual evidence, not as a medium, but as an investigator. And so I wouldn't take the blindfold or the headphones off because it wasn't discussed before going in. And so when I got to a point where they were desperately trying to get me to take the blindfold off, to the point where they were like telling me, they left you, you're by yourself. There's no one here now. Like they were desperately trying to get me to finally, like I got scared enough where I actually ended up taking the blindfold off and pulling off my headphones because they had scared me so much that they had all left me. And so it took me a little while to kind of adjust and to kind of reacclimate again, because I didn't, that was like an earlier investigation for me. And so I didn't quite, have that handle between the medium and the investigator, and you
And
always
you're
do.
speaking, the spirits were telling you all this because you're unable to hear anything outside of just your blindfold and headphones. So yeah.
Exactly. So I was trying to listen for what was coming through electronically through the spirit box or some, however we receive it, and not use my medium side. And so, yeah, that was an interesting experience. So when she said that, and like they came running to her side, it made me think, because I felt kids around me saying, trying to get me to take it off, or trying to get me to take it off and scare me to take off my blindfold and check and see where they were. So it was pretty interesting. Have you ever had something like where you felt that fear?
Yeah. Yeah, there's an old cemetery, urban legend out this way in the middle of one of the state forests where I was doing Estes, which I really don't do very often, and I got overwhelmed because I felt that there was a spirit on my back trying to interact with me.
Doing the same experiment. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't do that very often. We'll have to see about the Remnants project if I decide to or not.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi. My computer completely flipped out on me. I'm not really sure what happened.
Weren't we just talking about this when the host didn't want to talk to us anymore? The computers would mess up.
Right.
It's still
Yeah.
buzzing. We unplugged it and it's still buzzing. And it's a brand new computer.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Brand new.
It's possessed.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like at the beginning, when you first got on, my mic kept shaking. And like I wasn't moving, and I'm like, there's a little bit of activity going on with this particular interview. I'm saying interview.
Hold on.
So, but I just we just kept on, and I didn't think about it, but that was interesting.
That's weird.
Uh-huh.
It's very, very weird.
So
Yeah.
JD and I, we talked a little bit about, we had our experiences. I had an experience at Waverly, and but we both had experiences, and I know you've investigated Waverly, but we both had experiences using the Estes method. And one, he had an experience where he felt something behind him, and I had an experience where like there wasn't enough communication saying, okay, don't use your medium abilities or don't use your medium abilities. When I was doing Estes, and I had an experience where they were doing everything possible. The kids in the area were doing everything possible to get me to take off my mask and my headphones. And so, but I wouldn't do it because I was trying to use the, spirit box instead of the medium side. And so, and it just so happened that these two weird experiences we had were with the Estes method. So if you want to share or talk about Estes for yourself, if you've had weird experiences using that
That's
method.
all you there on Estes.
We're trying to unplug like miles of cords now all of a sudden.
I'm
But
going to go check on that computer. You talk for a minute.
the Estes, I love doing that as well. That's, but mine, probably my most terrifying. Jeez. Okay, done with technical. We were at Malvern, and I was going to do the Estes down at the end of Shadow Man's hallway. And I got down, I'm already down there. I sat down in the chair, gave the thumbs up, I'm ready to go. And I hadn't hardly been sitting there, and this voice comes through my headphones, and he says, leave. And I'm going, I'm not going to leave. So the next voice comes through and says, not yet. I go, okay. But then all of a sudden, I started getting this feeling of like if you were a very small person in the middle of a football field, that where you got this mass area of emptiness around you, and it was blacker than black, and it kept getting closer to me all the time. And I could tell that there was something out there walking just at arm's length. And all of a sudden I started getting this serious depression, anxiety, fear, all these feelings just kept getting worse and worse on me. And it finally got to a point where I told myself, if I don't get out of this physically now, I don't know if I'll be able to get out of this. And the headphones came off, and I went running down that hall going, what the blank was that? And that really did scare me. That was the worst experience I had with the Estes. But she's still, our computer is just, it sounds like it's going to blow up. It sounds like a blender over there.
Oh no. We should get some.
But yeah, I
water.
mean,
Oh no, that would be a bad idea too. I wouldn't want to throw holy on your holy water on your computer.
yeah, absolutely. And actually, Chuck Banks was with us that night, and he did. He helped settle me down, gave me some holy water, blessed me, and grounded me, and all that stuff. But I was done, and this was only like by 11 o'clock. But I called it that night. That was it for me. And it was funny because there were two young gentlemen. They were down in the blood hallway, what it's called, and they had an experience there that they come running to the same area we were at. So the three of us sat in the one bedroom and kept each other comfortable after that.
Oh.
It was quite the experience. And that's the only place that I just will not do the Estes experiment again. Not in that hallway. No.
I mean, we make ourselves completely vulnerable, and as humans, like it's hard for us to trust that we're safe, with our eyes covered and we can't hear anything. Like so, having that vulnerability and the experience, it makes sense. It's crazy. It
is weird. It's and some other times we've had some great experiences using the method. We really have. And the funny thing is, we had some people on the team that were getting upset because they weren't getting anything. And I said, the problem is you keep trying too hard. Just relax, let it happen. If you keep trying to, will words to come through, you're not going to get it. You just got to naturally let it happen to you.
Yeah, sometimes we get in our own way. We're blocking them instead of helping them. Or it's
absolutely.
Or if someone's putting a lot of pressure on me to do something, I kind of don't want to do it either.
Well, that could be a way to manipulate evidence also, but
true.
Because we've seen where if you put enough energy into something, it happens or moves or is manipulated by the energy.
Yeah, it was, and I don't know what brought it on or what, because I've been down there how many times doing it. If it was just a night and it was that night, that whatever it was, wanted to get a little more aggressive that night or something, or had something really wanted to make a point of, but that was interesting that night.
Well, maybe you were a little more open too.
I don't know. She's in there trying to get the computer fixed. I don't know what she's doing. She's got our IT working on it down there.
It's okay. We're good with you right now. We'll be nice. We won't hurt you.
But it wouldn't, when you guys have been doing it like on lives or anything, have you had issues where computers, live streams have gone crazy as well, or?
Yeah.
I mean, just even, I do another show too. On this, I'll have technical issues for no reason, just randomly. And on my other show, once my computer would not connect to anything. It completely stopped connecting to anything. Restarting it, nothing. Resetting it, nothing helped. And so I actually had to use my phone as, just like you guys are, because I couldn't get my computer to work for anything. And I had another computer that I use, a secondary computer, another computer right next to it that was working just fine. And it hasn't done this. It hasn't done it since. And it never did it before. So it was just some random event. And these things electronically happen. What about your mic, JD? Didn't your mic go out once?
Yeah, we've had. She got the computer to be quiet. We've had issues where our phones wouldn't work. Going back to that really crazy night at Edinburgh, we tried to call out to get friends to help us, and we couldn't make any connections. The only reason that we had some of our friends get back is because one of our really good friends happened to see our live and said, "What the heck is going on?" So they could call in and talk to us, but we couldn't connect out. It was crazy. It's weird when that happens.
Yeah.
And then like the physical, we've had friends that have been watching the show and had the same situation where physically people that are watching it are feeling emotions, getting, affected by watching, and I'm going, that's really weird for me.
That's right, because as Short Bus Paranormal, you normally go live on your investigations,
So-
right?
Irene had that experience with a couple of the haunted places that we discussed.
I will. All right. Thanks, honey.
I'm,
Love you.
she's really good. It's like having a little kid here, you know. It's just
Nothing like live
Wait a minute.
program.
I'm back. Okay, here I am. I had to talk to my tech guy and have and cry for help. So we got it shut down.
Wonderful. All right, JD, what were you saying? I missed
Yeah,
that.
I said that you have felt and gotten different readings from haunted places that we've talked about, such as the Dawes House and Shauna Rigsby being on our show.
Yeah. Like I'll sit in a location and I'll have experiences or feelings. And I have had it like the one time I came on when you were at Hinsdale, I was thinking about you guys and I wanted to see what was going on your page, and you were live at Hinsdale. And so I do believe that like things will happen for a reason like that and draw us to our technology will completely be affected. If it's energy, then why can't technology be affected? Why can't
Well,
we
plus
be
all of our equipment is electrical equipment.
exactly?
EMF meter, the REM pod, the mel meter, that's all electrical.
Yeah.
So
And if we're on Wi-Fi, don't forget our Wi-Fi signals. And like, it's just, I don't know.
That was squirrely. That was just squirrely. I gotta say. Yeah. It's like us and the spirits and electrical equipment. Wow. Yeah. Got a lot of sharp tingling in my hand right now.
Well, you've got
Okay,
I mean,
whoever's
you've
here
got
just needs to
loved
stop it.
ones. You've got a lot of loved ones that surround you too. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of loved ones here. Parents, pets, nephew, they're all here. So you know those little twinkle balls? Do you know how amazing those are when you've lost a pet or a loved one and you tell them that they can play with those whenever they want to come in and say hi? And they do. And that's really cool. That is the coolest thing. So
I think that's a big thing too, is people forget that they can still communicate with their loved ones, and however you feel like you can communicate with them, whether it's through symbols or through the cat balls, right?
yeah,
Like it's their, it's a way for you to, find that validation.
Yeah.
That they're there, that they're around you. And it's however it happens, it's a beautiful thing either way.
it really is. It just gives your heart the warm fuzzies,
Yeah.
But
Okay, so that actually brings me to another question. So you started out as a skeptic. I know Nick was more of the believer before, but after all of these types of investigations, all of your paranormal experiences, how has it changed your view? Especially part of what we were just saying. How has it changed your view of the afterlife? How do you see the afterlife now versus how you saw the afterlife before?
before I don't think I ever even thought about it. And now that I've been doing this long enough and I have seen and felt things that I can't explain, I now have a peace, as in, not a piece of, but peace with those that have gone over to the other side. For me, it's not a sense of missing them anymore, but a sense of knowing that they are now at peace. They're at a better place. They're with those that they love. And that gives me comfort. I know a lot of people grieve differently, but for me, it's a matter of feeling that warmth and that love, knowing that they're okay. And they pop in at the most random time to say hello, but that's always, it's always fun. some things you can't explain, like when you have a feather float down down from the ceiling in the hallway. There's no birds in my house, and there's no windows, but here comes this feather. Well, it was my father. It's like, oh, hi, but it's just reassuring to know that they're okay.
And for me, I'm happy to know that I have a better understanding of what may be on the other side. I don't fear it as much as I would have before about the finality, of death and all that stuff.
No.
I truly believe there is something after. There is something on the other side of the veil. So that makes me feel a lot more at ease when I go into this, and with my life, actually, when I think of that. Just not knowing that when physically I'm gone, I'm not gone. I'm still there, which makes me feel better about that part of it.
Yeah. It's just a comfort. I mean, there's going to be loss, yes, and there's going to be tears, yes. But I think if you believe that they're still here with you in one sense or another, or they have the ability to come back when you need them, that they're there for you. And I find that to be very reassuring, very comforting. Do I miss my mom and dad? Of course I do, but mom missed dad, and they're together now, and I'm happy for them. And so I know they're watching out for us. It's okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so we're reaching that time, the end of the hour. So how can people find your lives and reach out if they want to reach out and connect and maybe investigate with you or bring you out to one of their locations?
Got that.
I'm sorry. The cold is kicking in again. You can find us on Facebook under Short Bus Paranormal. 3 separate words. If you try to put them all together, you're not going to find us.
You can go live.
We do go live when we go on investigations. So those that want to jump in and join us, we encourage that because we love having other people investigate with us, even if it's from the comfort of their own couch. But it's just fun to have them part of that group. And we usually post where we're going to be heading out. So yes, we need to get together there, Sweet Pea. But
and it's interesting when people watch what they get out of it. It's interesting to talk to them later and hear what they thought about it, what they might have caught. So it's always fun to have reaction from people that are watching our lives.
Yeah. I can feel, but I don't see, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
He hears quite well, and you can see occasionally.
I'm more of a sense guy.
Yeah, but mine's more of an emotional thing. So that's where I usually am at. And if my gut says go.
That's a good
What is a place that you guys haven't been able to do yet that you would like to do in the future if given the opportunity?
Wow. Boy, the list is limitless. There's a brothel down in Arkansas I think would be fun.
That's a new one that just opened. But the Randolph Infirmary would be a good one. That's kind of a Midwest kick for us. There's a lot of them like east of us we haven't hit yet that we'd like to go into.
If you haven't been to the Monroe House, definitely make sure you go there. That's awesome. It's in Indiana. Beale Manor, we want to get there.
Beale is a new one.
That's a new one we really want to get to. Any of
I've
Have you been there?
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Winchester House, of course, everybody wants to go there, but
No. I'm more of the Island of the Dolls guy. That's the one I want to go to.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, you got JD's interest right there. You add doll into a name for me. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not
Gotta
sure.
bring Angela.
That was at the Hayubuchi Forest. That one too. I always like watching stuff about that one too.
I'll stay in the car.
Where's your adventure?
In the car.
We'll go pick up some snacks. We'll find you
Watch
guys
from
after.
the phone.
But yeah, we absolutely love what we do, and the people that we meet are just amazing.
Some of the best people we've met through this.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yeah, absolutely
I agree.
amazing. You know, it's just a great little family. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That we don't get to see enough of.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it's been great having you on. Your energy is great. Thanks for sharing your experiences and your experiences at locations, but also your experience, because you've been doing this for a long time, and we look forward to many more years of watching your lives and investigating.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yep,
Yeah.
thank you,
Well,
guys.
we appreciate everybody. Seriously do.
Awesome.
Okay. So we'll have a new episode next week. Make sure to tune in for the Remnants projects. We're doing a lot there, and there's going to be a lot more coming up.
Cool.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
Horizons unseen, waiting for me, pushing past the fear to explore and see. Oh, on cold tales hidden deep within. Let's break the chains that's fine.